Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. Nice to meet you. I hope you're doing so very well. Today I have my August TBR. This is going to be TBR Tarot, my Orilium TBR, and my Spoopathon TBR. So if you're interested, stick around. There will be chapters in case you're only interested in one thing, but let's get right into it. So in the month of July, I did not read any of my TBR. I have been really struggling with my mental health, so that has something to play on my reading, but also I just wanted a month where I could not read and I could read whatever I wanted. So I kind of just rolled with that, and I ended up only reading 3 things, I believe. Well, 2, and I'm in the middle of one. I feel like this was a good choice, as if I didn't do this, I maybe wouldn't be so up for all the readathons that are happening in August. I feel like the month break really done me well. Also, my best friend Effy over at What Effy Reads, always linked in the description, says that they would take my punishment this month. So I'm not even going to have a punishment for not completing my TBR, which is fantastic. I'm so happy about that. So I think first I'm going to pick the punishment for Effy. So I'm just gonna pick one of the punishments, and I hope it's not a bad one, and I'm sorry if it is, Effy. I got this one. Oh, what is this? Supernova by Marissa Mayer. So, a couple of issues with this one. Effy's already read this, and I just unhauled this because I decided to give up on this trilogy because I've already tried to read this book like 3 times. So this can't be done. And I don't know if that means you get a pass or if I pick another. But what I'm going to do is I will pick another. But Effy, you have the choice to pass on this since the first one didn't work. You have a choice to pass or complete the second punishment. It is completely up to you. I mean, I'm just happy I don't have the punishment. I totally missed that, just so you know. Let's try this again. Can't believe how hot it is today. I'm bloody roasting. And we have, what is this? Pull one more card. So it looks like I'm going to have to get my card deck and pull a card for Effy. If you hear a noise, it's my trousers, because I'm trying some new styles of clothing and I really wanted like that cargo trouser look, but the ones that I bought sound like this. They look nice, but they sound awful. Okay, let me grab all these cards. Obviously, the 4 missing from the deck will be the 4 that I am currently using for this month's TBR. I don't put them back in the deck until after the month is out. So, yeah. Well, I've just dropped some, but I'm not even going to worry about it because, like, do you see how many cards are in here? Let's see. I am going to pick this one right here. It's upside down. I think I done that off screen, but oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It is a book over 500 pages. I hope this works for something that's already on your TBR. If not, then like feel free to take the first punishment as a skip and not do this. I'm so sorry that it turned out so bad, especially during like readathon month. Let's get into the 2 books that I read in July. The first book I read was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I gave this a 4 stars. I loved this. I went in with low expectations because I I loved Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and then Survive the Night was just okay. This I really enjoyed, not quite as much as Home Before Dark, but yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I feel like it's written fairly well. Like the main character is someone that you simultaneously root for, feel pity for, and like kind of in a way like want to come out the end as like a better person, but like through the trauma that this main character has been through and goes through, like you understand why she's not like in the best place. And I feel like the main character is the driving force in this book. In this book, we follow Casey Fletcher, who is an actress, and when her husband dies on a lake, she goes to her lake house to like be a recluse from the media. It's like forced containment because her mum wants her to get sober and thinks putting her in this lake house in the middle of nowhere will help, but she still has access to all the booze. And then one day she meets Catherine, who almost drowns in the lake. She saves her, and she then gets this obsession with watching Catherine's life across the lake through binoculars, and that's where the story takes off. The characters are a driving force in this book, and I really enjoyed where it went, even though I didn't expect it to go where it did go. And I highly recommend this if you're looking for a fast-paced, character-driven thriller with surprising aspects. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad that I got to this in July. The next book is one that I don't have with me at the moment, and it is Hidden Pictures by Jason. I'm not going to try and pronounce the last name from memory. This follows a young girl who's a recovering drug addict, and she gets a job nannying this little boy, and things start being really creepy. Like the little boy starts speaking about an imaginary friend, and then these pictures start showing up of this imaginary friend in certain situations, and then the pictures start showing up at the nanny's door, and they're like not written by a child, drawn by a child, should I say, and the story takes off from there. This was really interesting. I gave it a 3.5. It was good and it kept me hooked. I just wish it gave a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit more creepy. I think I gave it a 3.75 actually. Like the drawings in it were amazing, the story written around the drawings were amazing, and the characters were really good. I wish the mum and dad of the child was a little bit more developed, but apart from that, I really am happy that I picked this book up, and it gave me all that like creepy horror vibes, and I am a huge fan of children and horror. It creeps me out so much. I just think it's like two things that shouldn't go together, but they go together so well, and this done that for me, so I'm glad that I picked this up. And I recommend this if you're looking for a fast-paced thriller horror with like paranormal supernatural elements and creepy drawings, because that is one of the main focus points of this book. It's like my first day off. It's Friday. It's my first day off of the week. I'm so happy. It's supper time. I'm enjoying a Love Bellini Love Gin. I will pop a picture here. It is absolutely to die for. Oh my god, I love it. You should try this. Please try this if you're a gin drinker or a cocktail drinker. You will love this. Please try this. I am having a ball with them. I'm gonna go straight into my tarot TBR, but I'm probably gonna say these out of order of what I'm showing you because I forgot to look at the recording and put them in order. So they are all the right picks and I am not cheating, but unfortunately I didn't look before I started filming and now it's too late. So I'm just gonna take the cards as they come and hope for the best. The first card I have here is to assign a top priority read, and for this I'm going with Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. and this sounds amazing. This is one of my most anticipated. I finally picked myself up a copy, and I cannot wait to read this. So it says, Beth and Fran spend their days travelling the ravaged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in a gruesome effort to ensure they'll never face the same fate. Robbie lives by his gun and one hard-learned motto: other people aren't safe. After a brutal accident entwines the three of them, this found family of survivors must navigate murderous turfs, a sociopath billionaire bunker brat, and awkward relationship dynamics, all while outrunning packs of feral men and their own demons. Need I say more? This sounds amazing. And I heard J.K. Rowling gets killed off in this book, and I'm like, yes, please. So I'm gonna read this, and I'm hopefully gonna enjoy it, and I cannot wait. This is definitely a top priority, and I'm so glad that I'm gonna fit it into this month. Hopefully. I want to read it now, but it's too early. It's too early. Next card I have here is an isolated setting or small town, and I get bonus points if it's paranormal or horror. I think I'm on 2 points. I will put my current points here, and so after not reading anything from my TBR this month, it's probably still the same as last month. So for isolated and or small setting, I went with The Sanatorium by Sarah Peirce, and this obviously takes place in a sanatorium that's very isolated, so I believe it works. I don't know if this is paranormal or horror. I will probably need to look that up. I know that it's thriller, but it could be. This says, everyone's in danger. Anyone could be next. An imposing isolated hotel. Oh, perfect. This is perfect. An imposing isolated hotel high up in the Swiss Alps is the last place Ellen Warner wants to be. But she's taken time off her job as a detective, so when she receives an invitation out of the blue to celebrate her estranged brother's recent engagement, she has no choice but to accept. Arriving in the midst of a threatening storm, Ellen immediately feels on edge. Though it's beautiful, something about the hotel, recently converted from an abandoned sanatorium, makes her nervous, as does her brother Isaac. And when they wake the following morning to discover his fiancée Laurie has vanished without a trace, Ellen's unease grows. With the storm cutting off access to and from the hotel, the longer Laura stays missing, the more the remaining guests start to panic. It sounds fun. I'm always down for a good whodunit, where did they go thriller. I hope this gives me all the spooky vibes. I hope it's as good as what I think it's going to be in my head, but I will have to read it and see. The next card I am a little bit cheating on. It is a non-human main character, and I have to make this fantasy to get a point, but because there's so many readathons this month, I thought I would give myself a little bit of leeway and just fulfill the prompt and not the must prompt, just simply because there's a lot of readathons and I'm intimidated really easy. So I'm still going to take the point for this because I'm fulfilling the prompt. This won't be the only month that I do this, just because there's 2 readathons going on in 1 month, and one of them is the Orilium readathon, which is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break here. And for this, I'm going with Woman Eaten by Claire Coda, I believe. Yes, it is indeed. And I got this in an Abominable Book Club box, so I am very excited to read this. It does sound really good. It's vampires, so the main character obviously isn't human. This says, Lydia is hungry. She's always wanted to try sashimi, ramen, onigiri, with sour plums stuffed inside, the food her Japanese father liked to eat. And then there is bubble tea and the vegetables grown by the other young artists at the studio she is secretly squatting in. But Lydia can't eat any of this. The only thing she can digest is blood. And it turns out that sourcing fresh pig's blood in London, where she's living away from her vampire mother for the first time, is more difficult than she'd anticipated. Then there are humans, the people at the gallery where she interns, the strange men who follow her after dark, and Ben, a goofy grinned artist she is developing feelings for. Lydia knows that they are her natural prey, but she can't bring herself to feed on them. If Lydia is to find a way to exist in the world, she must reconcile the conflicts within her between her demon and human sides, her mixed ethnic heritage, and her relationship with food and, in turn, humans. Before any of this, however, she must eat. This feels like a new, fresh take on vampires. I think it's going to be very humanity-built vampires. So yeah, I am excited to read this, and I am glad that I got this in a book club subscription box. And the last card I have here for TBR Tarot is to read a book with 15 or more letters in the title, and I get bonus points if it's paranormal or horror. And for this, I am going with The Reckless Life of Harriet Stoker by Lauren James. And this was a recommendation. I will leave on the screen who I got this recommendation from because I'm totally blanking at the moment, but the way that they described it just sounded so amazing, and it worked so perfectly for what I needed this month that I had to grab it. So this says, when Harriet Stoker dies after falling from a balcony in a long abandoned building, she discovers a group of ghosts, each with a special power. Felix, Casper, Rima, and Leah welcome Harriet into their world, eager to make friends with the new arrival after decades alone. Yet Harriet is more interested in unleashing her own power, even if it means destroying everyone around her. But when all eternity is at stake, the afterlife can be a dangerous place to make an enemy. I mean, ghosts, a ghost group of friends, the afterlife, superpowers. I think this is going to be really good, and I cannot wait to get to it. And it's a really, really long title, so it works perfectly for this prompt. And now I'm going to get into the prompts that these fulfill for Spoopathon, because Spoopathon is a week-long readathon running from the 1st to the 7th. There is a map. You have to complete the prompts and defeat the baddie in order to get to the cabin, in order to survive the camp. This is so much fun. I love Spoopathon. I love Spoops. Her channel is amazing, and I'm just so happy that I get to take part in it this year. So I'm going to use the Reckless Afterlife of Harriet Stoker for Ghost, obviously, but this also fulfills read at night, queer, and buddy read. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to start this at night and call it done. I'm not going to read this just specifically at night, although I do a lot of my reading in bed before I go to sleep, so that could potentially happen, but I do plan on reading the majority of this at night. So that then gives me... This also counts as recommendation, and of course I will leave that linked on the screen before who I got this recommendation from. So this actually gives me 125 points, which means I immediately complete the first and second prompt and defeat the person in my path that is trying to kill me, which fantastic. I will take it. The next book I plan to read is Camp Carnage. I have this on Kindle, so I don't own it physically. This is going to fulfill the prompt murder, and I'm looking forward to it. I believe it's just about a bunch of people that go to a camp and then end up getting killed. It's a slasher, and I did get this recommended also, and I will leave that on the screen who I got this recommendation by. And I'm looking forward to this. It's fairly short. I think I can fly through it. And yeah, so that is murder. Then for the last prompt, to get me home safe, to get me to the cabin, to enjoy some gin and party with all the survivors, I'm going to read Manhunt. This is going to fulfill the prompt of thrilling, because I believe this is going to be one hell of a thrilling ride. So that is the 3 books that I am reading for Spoopathon in the first week of August. I hope to vlog. I will see where I'm at. But I do hope to vlog for it, so hopefully that will be coming soon. So if you're interested in that, please stick around, subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified when I take that vlog out, so you can see my thoughts on all 3 of these books. But until then, I am so excited that I can fit these 3 books in to this month's TBR. They're also going to fulfill some Orilium prompts, which is what I'm going into next. And real quickly, I'm going to go through the prompts that these books will fulfill for the Orilium readathon. I am a mood warden, so I need to get a certain amount of prompts hit, and these are going to fulfill all of them nearly. For with a drink, I'm going with Camp Carnage. I'm going to make a coffee, hopefully, and read this in one sitting. I hope that is the plan. I hope that it comes to fruition, but we will have to see. Manhunt fell under Killer Wheel. I will put a recording of the Killer Wheel thing that I did when I was picking my TBR. I done this when I pulled my cards. So yeah, like, I was going to do this live, but I had to plan my TBR tarot, my Orilium, and my Camp Spoopathon, so it just felt easier to do it before I filmed so that I could see how much books I was going to have to read this month. So this is the way that the colour chart turned out, and this is what I ended up picking for it. We have Woman Eaten, which is going to fulfill single object focus on the cover. I think that does that well. Then we have the Sanatorium fulfilling TBR Vet. I've had this for over 1.5 years, so this definitely fulfills it for me. Anything over a year is a TBR Vet for me, so I'm counting it. And then the one book that I have to add for Orilium is one that I really struggled with. For the Archers or Rangers prompt, I'm going with Defy the Night by Bridget Kremeter, and this is the Special Fairy Loot edition, which is absolutely beautiful. I also love Bridget Kremeter's work, so I am excited to try this and see how I get on. It says, a spark of rebellion is all it takes to defy the night. The kingdom of Kandala is on the brink of disaster. Rifts between sectors have only worsened since a sickness began ravaging the land, and the only known cure, an elixir made from moonflower petal, which is severely limited. Within the royal palace, the king holds a tenuous peace with a ruthless hand. Out in the wilds, apothecary apprentice Tessa Cade is tired of seeing her neighbours suffering, ignored by the unyielding royals. Every night, she and her best friend Wes risk their lives to steal moonflower petals and distribute the elixir to those who need it most. But it's still not enough. As rumour spreads that the cure no longer works and sparks of rebellion begin to flare, a particularly cruel act from the king's justice makes Tessa desperate enough to try the impossible, sneaking into the palace. But what she finds on the inside makes her wonder if it's possible to fix Kandala without destroying it first. This sounds so good. Like, I have really high expectations because it's Bridget Kremeter, so I hope it's as good as what I think it's going to be. So that fits that prompt. And that's it. So here we have it. This is the TBR for the month of August. Also Camp Carnage on top of this. This looks really achievable considering this fulfills 4 prompts for TBR Tarot, 6 prompts for Orilium, and it completes all of Spoopathon. This seems like really achievable, but books can be deceiving, so I'm going to put on screen the number of pages this TBR is in total. The number of pages I will need to read in week 1 in order to accomplish Spoopathon, like the number of pages I have to read per day from the 1st to the 7th in order to complete Spoopathon and make it to the cabin. And then the number of pages I need to read from the 7th to the 31st in order to complete Orilium. So this will all be broken down on screen here. I hope you're interested and I hope it's achievable because I don't know this math just yet. That's Ed and Shannon's problem. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, a great week, a great weekend, whenever the hell you're watching this. Remember to take care of yourself and stay safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Pick it up from the top, hit restart. So far it's been so hard.